Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Misscliks D&D Seaborn. How are you guys doing today?
Yay! Fantastic to be back.
Yeah, how was PAX Prime?
PAX Prime, you mean TwitchCon?
I mean TwitchCon.
It was good. It was fun. I got to meet so many people from my community, which was amazing. Like almost minus, I think, 2 or 3, all my mods were there, which was
that's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, so you got like a mod picture. Yeah. So it was really cool.
Nice.
It was awesome for me too. A lot of my content production dreams came true. And
best moment.
it kind of depends. Like there were so many amazing moments depending on in what context. I think like the best personal moment was the end of the talent show because I'd been working so hard on that and that had really been like me driving that. So it was like if it failed, it was all on me, and if it survived, it would like potentially make a really good message for content and like allow me to do more things in the future. And most people felt like it was a success. So that felt amazing. And like having put as much work into it as I did, I was a little teary and felt amazing. And the performers were just amazing to watch. So that was really cool. But I think my favorite moment overall, like community wise, was Twitch Yearly. Because Marcus and I were up there at the end of TwitchCon, like both of us close to tears, like people in the crowd with like glistening eyes. And all of us are just like talking about how much Twitch means to us. And I've always wanted to have a career where I felt like I was part of something that was going to have a tangible positive impact on other people's lives. And so feeling like that was visible during Twitch Yearly was a pretty defining moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a real answer.
That's really cool.
What about you guys?
How was New York Comic Con? I was actually playing the World Series of Sealed with one of your hosts, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, New York Comic Con was really cool. I got to interview Stan Lee.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really a highlight.
Nice, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, he was so nice. And he's 93 years old and still just like super energetic and like well-spoken and very, very, very cool. It was kind of the feeling of like having visiting royalty come to your booth.
Yeah.
It was very like, oh, Mr. Lee, like, please come, please proceed. It was very...
I met him in New York like 4 or 5 years ago and got to take my picture and stuff with him. And he was just so nice. I was like, Grandpa.
Yeah. Well, and it was like he makes everyone around him feel special, even though he's this huge celebrity in the comics world. Like one of our producers came up to him and was like, hey, I know you're really busy, but I just wanted to tell you that when I was young, we used to, go to the grocery store, and the one cool thing was that my mom would like let me pick out a Spider-Man comic, and that was one of the like things I looked forward to most as a kid, and they meant so much to me, and I just wanted to thank you. And Stan Lee was like, well, good, because I wrote them just for you. And he was like, and that like that's gonna stay with that guy for the rest of his life because that was so meaningful to him. So he has this way of making people feel important and worthy. It was really cool. Yeah.
Another meaningful answer by Anna.
I'm all about the feels and the meaning. I mean, actually, 2 of my other favorite interviews, well, 3, there were some really, really good interviews, but I interviewed the Black and Blue Rangers from Power Rangers, and they talked a lot about like, and they talked a ton about being like role models because they were in this role when they were younger that still reverberates now, and what it means to try to use that for good and like use the voice that you have and again, make other people feel worthwhile and hear their stories and stuff. And so that was really cool and inspiring. And then I also got to interview the cast and crew of Captain Planet, which was really cool for me because I got to go to them and say like, hey, I want you to know that the show you made actually had a huge impact on who I became, because Captain Planet really actually was formative to me and how I feel about environmental sustainability and humane treatment of animals, and a lot of that stuff comes directly from the fact that Captain Planet was one of my favorite shows. So, and then having them talk about how like that was their goal is really cool, because a lot of times in entertainment you talk to people and you're like, this was so meaningful to me, and they're like, cool, I did it because it's my job and I made money, you know, like so these people were like, good, because that's what we want, that's what we made the show for, you know. And then the last really, really cool, inspiring interview was talking to Alan Tudyk, who's you know, from Firefly and Knight's Tale, and now does Con Man, and he's also K2SO, the droid in the new Star Wars Rogue One. And he's someone that I've been a fan of actually since before Firefly. I loved him in Knight's Tale, which is like a fun movie that used to be a favorite of mine. So talking to someone who has been that successful and that much of a like icon in my life, and having him be as warm and as kind as he was, and like he wanted to learn about Twitch, and he was willing to talk about, you know, anything we wanted to talk about. It was just like really, really cool. So overall, when you do something like New York Comic Con and you know you're having a lot of like celebs come to the booth instead of the gaming developers that we normally talk to, you kind of expect people to be a little bit cold or aloof or maybe not as interested in what we're doing. But overall, it was like really, really neat, and everyone was really warm and inspiring and cool.
That's super cool. What a good experience to not have that versus the other thing with no expectations coming into it too.
Right. And especially because it was right after TwitchCon, so my energy level was so low. It was like if I had to deal with people being, you know, less cool, it would have been very difficult.
Yeah. Aw, yay. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really
such a good experience for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about the rest of you? Jen?
Well, I did not go to TwitchCon, and I did not go to New York Comic Con or to any other event.
But
I had a Canadian holiday on Monday.
good. What was it?
I don't even know. Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. So on Sunday, what I did was stay all day in my pajamas.
Nice.
Not even wash myself, and that's disgusting.
No, dude, I did that yesterday too. It's the
Not
best.
even order food because I didn't want to put on like pants. So I just unfroze something and ate that, and it wasn't even that good, and I didn't even care. And then I played Dota for like a ridiculous amount of hours.
Nice.
Let me open up Steam to see how many hours I put into Dota in the last 2 weeks, but it's gross. And I love it.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Nice. What about you, Mr. Trump?
Well, I went to a really cool person's meetup at TwitchCon. I'm one of her biggest fans. Yeah, so I went to TwitchCon, played in the World Series of Sealed. A cool little Hearthstone event that was kind of mostly for entertainment. It was fun.
Nice. What about you, V?
Well, TwitchCon, I got to, like I said, meet a bunch of my community, which meant a super ton to me because we got to like do a dinner and do a meetup and then do lunch. And then I got also with Spotlight for one day, so that was cool to do an interview for that and a charity thing. Since then, I spent a couple days in California spending time with friends, so that was nice. And then realized how much I miss Washington, so when I got back, immediately got to watch my sunset, do some hiking, and just getting settled back down. But I really love it here.
Nice. Well, cool. Let's talk about the game. Where did we leave off 2 weeks ago?
We left off with the third week of no experience. I'll say that
Yes.
one. But
Well,
that might not matter because one of us might be dead.
I know. Trellis.
The good news is that would mean that experience would only be split 3 ways. So
Oh my god.
right now we're figuring out whether or not the box is alive or dead. Wait for Jen. But we can recap without her.
We can
We
recap
definitely
about her.
we had like a grand, drawing of the line between the party where Trellis and Fehana stood against Temriel and Dark Albert in an epic.
I
Yeah.
don't know why it always does that, but whatever.
We need to redo the chems.
No, everything's good.
I can
Okay.
tell you though that I had 49 hours played in the last 2 weeks, most of which were Sunday.
Well done. Well done.
That's all. Sorry.
Yeah. We were just recapping that we had kind of these two factions within the party that were standing against each other, but eventually we're able to kind of find common ground. We were basically fighting over like what we were going to do with the orb and who should get it and who was lying to who and whether we believed each other and trusted each other, et cetera, et cetera. And where we kind of ended up was Fehana still has the orb. They're going to try to use it to imprison Brimstone the Fire Incarnate. And then Fehana says she wants to take the orb back to the nuns of Valmontarius after that.
And Ryan died.
Yeah, he fell
Right.
off a cliff.
Yeah. He literally fell off a cliff.
Yes.
Right after a dragon fight where he did not die and performed really, really well.
Well,
Also, you owe us like 3 episodes of experience.
when you guys escape from the island and have a chance to recuperate just a little bit, we'll get you your experience. So, the very last place we left off was with Trellis freezing to death.
Oh.
Yeah, so desperate times called for desperate measures. Even though we hadn't tested it before, we have a box. Well, we have a ship which can carry stuff and folds nicely into a box. So it's probably warmer in there. So Trellis decided to take the risk of going into the ship, and it turned into a box. And we are going to shortly reopen the box just about 1 minute after to make sure that she's okay and that we can carry on with this plan.
Right. You open the box, and sure enough, Trellis is still alive.
Oh
Right
my
where you left
God.
her,
Hey!
doing just fine.
We thought she'd be dead.
Okay, let's try a little bit longer now.
You feel okay? Did you need to hold your breath?
You're muted.
Muted. Oh my God, she's mute now.
Did it steal your voice?
No, I seem to be fine.
Where did it take you? Were you in another dimension?
Were you
I
in
don't remember.
Huh.
You were in a ship. It just got dark.
Did it feel like a minute had passed
I did, just a minute.
Were
and you could breathe in there?
I seem to be fine.
Well then, back in the box you go.
We should check on her in another 5 minutes, just to make sure.
We should do a 5-minute check.
That's fair.
Well, okay, so the box opens up to be a full ship, so you have to like open the box, and the ship's like tilted on its side. Then you like crawl in the ship, find her. It's a process. It's maybe not every 5 minutes, but every.
No,
so
no, no. we
I just
do
want to check
another
again in
check.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll
Uh-huh.
go for it. Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute process to check in on her. So
No. We wanted to do a 1-minute test and then a 5-minute test, and then we're gonna be confident for the real deal.
Right.
fantastic. All right. So 5-minute test passes with flying colors. She seems fine. Still cold, but inside the box in the other realm, maybe her body heat will warm everything up and she'll be okay. She definitely won't have any of the chilling wind or any additional cold. So,
Do you have any undead soldiers she could perhaps cuddle with, get body warmth? Are undead warm? I don't know.
Unfortunately, they usually are not very warm. However, we have all sorts of furs, I'm sure, in the ship, or something that's furry.
Yes, blankets, probably.
Yes.
Do you have blankets
Wrap
now?
yourself with one of those,
probably something.
and we're good to go.
All right. The rest of you continue on the journey
And
across.
if any of you would like to go into the ship and enjoy a nice, comfortable journey, feel free.
I wouldn't wish. Oh.
Maybe you can provide Trellis some company.
Okay, I will do that. I go in the ship with Trellis.
Dark Albert seems unusually happy for the next hour or two. Like way more patient, a little bit less annoyed, pretty comfortable. Oh man, this was a great idea you had. I don't think I've ever seen someone with such a great idea. We're finally at peace.
Ah, yes. Finally, just the two of us. The only two sane people here, really.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I thought of? Remember that one time where you said we should resurrect Maribel? Really wish we could go back and resurrect Ryan as an undead Ryan.
Ah, yes. Oh, did we want to try to find his dagger?
I mean, at this point, we probably could just go for it since the other two are in the box anyway, right?
Did not think that through.
It would probably be too difficult to find it.
I wonder
It's not worth it anyways.
Maybe not. Perhaps not. It would have been
Someday, some
entertaining.
adventurers will get a quest to find a magical dagger here, and it will be... they'll wonder why someone ended up buried here.
We are far away, are we? Like, let's say I was to become a bird.
You are roughly 28 miles from the coast. And at your pace of 8 miles a day, that's going to take you like 3.5 days to get there.
But I mean, to get to the Ryan corpse.
To get to Ryan's corpse. Well,
Sure.
you're not...
As a bird.
So you don't know the exact location
Yeah.
of his corpse. You kind of know that it fell down into this ravine, and that ravine is maybe, 8 miles across. That ravine is somewhere within a mile or two from here, but you don't really like within that ravine. You'd have to then look for it. It could be a 1-hour project, or it could be like a 4-day project. You never know until you try it.
I mean, if I was properly equipped, I think it would take me a day. I guess it's not worth it.
Okay, towards the coast.
Let's move on.
Okay.
We'll make sure to unbox them in 3 hours so that they can eat.
Right.
Yeah, we would.
I was wondering how long you were going to keep us in there.
So you guys continue across the icy cold. Can I get perception checks from both of you?
Yeah.
Let's see. 12.
Damn, I already missed rolling for Ryan.
Oh.
Too bad.
Aha. So Temriel, your eyeless sockets gaze out across the open, flat tundra that extends from here to the ocean as you step out of these foothills. When something odd catches your eye, there's a little bit of movement that seems to be going back and forth, maybe 500 or 600 feet in front of you. It's underneath. It's behind a bit of a snowbank, and you can't tell much. There's just something white that seems to be bopping back and forth. Not with a lot of regularity. Sometimes it goes quickly. Sometimes it goes slowly. It's always about the same speed, but the frequency of passes is uneven.
Is there an angle where we can look at it from far away and see what it is?
It's, there's like a snowbank in front of you, and it's down a little bit below that. So if you crawl closer, you could see it, but you would also be in a position where it could see you.
Oh. Well,
Is there a way to go horizontal?
Yeah, you could try and skirt around it, maybe.
Did he tell me?
No.
Oh, yeah, look, that's such an unusual movement.
Oh, let me extend my spyglass to investigate it.
You have a working spyglass? Or is that
I mean,
broken
it's
spyglass?
written as if it's okay. I thought we fixed it. Did we not?
I don't remember, that's what I'm asking. Did you get it fixed?
I feel I would have kept it written broken if it wasn't.
Okay.
Let's see if chat remembers.
Well, let's just say it's not broken. Let's say you've got it fixed then.
All right.
Give me a...
What an extensively charitable move of you, Neil. I wonder why he would be so willing to let you have a full spyglass. It's not broken.
On my character sheet, I feel it's not broken.
That seems
I
reasonable
would
if
have
it doesn't say
written-
broken. What sort of DM do you guys think I am?
One that wouldn't let us have a full spyglass if it was broken?
Well, if it said broken, then of course not. But Jen, why don't you make me another perception check? This time at plus 10.
23.
Look,
Timriel, my vision is blurry with my one eye.
all right. You have some
I don't
trouble
have to.
locating the source of movement with the spyglass.
Where is it?
Eventually-
Point it to me.
Eventually, you figure it out, and it appears to be a snowball that kind of gets tossed, and then it tosses itself back over the sand, just kind of like keeps dipping behind this snowbank, so you can't see where it's landing. But it looks like a snowball because there's little bits coming off of it here and there.
My. I think we are going across two giants having a snowball fight, Temrio.
Ah, yes, sounds like a reasonable explanation. We should avoid these giants.
I agree, giants are dangerous. And so are giant snowballs.
We'll go like half a mile north or south or whichever way to avoid them.
Okay, so you take a big detour to go around these guys.
I like how everyone went for the giants explanation.
All right.
It made perfect sense.
Totally.
You press on. The blinding snow prevents you from really seeing too much anything around you other than off in that direction there's the mountains, so in the opposite direction has got to be the ocean. So just keep heading oceanward.
Yep.
Hours pass, and eventually it becomes time for you guys to, well, at least for Dark Albert to eat.
Oh, I'm hungry now.
You
I
haven't.
bet the others are as well.
Right.
Do you realize what would happen if they both just died in there right now? It would.
Yes, it would be quite a tragedy, wouldn't it?
It definitely would be. Would you rise them as your own undead army?
Unfortunately, the undead that I can create through bodies of humanoids are not that powerful.
Oh, they're too powerful to be recycled, I see.
Right. They would simply come back as weak skeletons or zombies
Oh.
and not hold any of their old adventuring prowess. So they are probably of more use alive.
That's really too bad, because I would have liked to have the certainty of my use if I were dead as an undead skeleton.
Ah, if I see. Yes, it would be very useful if you did somehow perish, that we should still use your magics. Hopefully someday you learn some useful magic, Albert.
I already have some useful magic.
Okay. So I set the box onto the floor, we give it a good berth, and we turn it back into a ship with the words of Rift Ship.
All right. The ship appears. Trellis and Fehana. It's been dark while the ship has been closed into a box. There's no light source anywhere around, and the air gets very still. And you've been in there for a couple of hours, so it's probably there's still plenty of air in the ship for you to breathe after a couple of hours. But there's no, source of air anywhere else. It's just whatever is in the ship when you guys start.
As soon as the ship gets bigger and I hear them coming, I stagger out whatever door, the cabin we were in, and I and then I fall down on the ground.
And oh my, they did die. Quick, get your spells ready.
And then as soon as you come over, I'm like, ha ha ha, I fooled you. We are fine.
And then I go from a slight look of disappointment to a very fake laugh. Ha ha ha, that is so funny.
Ah, thank you.
You didn't get me at all there, Fehana.
And I just slowly wander out
Were your
quietly.
How are
Are your
you
living
feeling?
arrangements suitable in there?
It gets a little stale. I think it's not a good idea to leave us in there too long.
Ah,
3
we shall
hours
leave
is
it
fine.
at this amount of time of 4 hours. Yep, does that sound right? 3 hours?
Sure.
And we should make sure to open the hold to the wind. So I'll do that. We'll set it as a ship and make sure to open it so
Fresh air gets in there.
Air out there.
If we were inside and we wanted to come outside, is there anything we could say to open the ship or tell you to open the ship?
I don't know. Perhaps we could conduct an experiment in which you try to say the words while you're inside. It seems like you noticed when the box turned into a ship, or the ship turned into a, yes, when the box turned into a ship.
Mm-hmm.
You did notice, right?
Yes.
I mean, we have to be careful because they may just squish us.
That's true. You have to be very careful with that, but this is a good time to test whether or not you can change out in case you are out of air.
Okay.
If we give it a try, why don't you go into the hold and then say the words?
Okay. Do I know the words?
I don't think so.
They are simply rift box for the box, rift.
Rift box for box rift?
As I say the words.
As you say the words, poof, she disappears into the box.
So good.
Wait, wouldn't everyone, since they were on the ship with us?
No, I was shouting it from below since we were leaving.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think everyone was on the ship.
Okay, I say the words to see if I can make the ship come back.
Well, he only told you how to make it into a ship.
Yeah.
Or into a
Oh.
box. He didn't tell you how to turn it back.
Never mind then.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gumble. Rift
I
ship.
mean, we can probably go for another 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay, say the words rift ship. By the way, the words are rift ship to turn it back into a ship.
Ah, okay. I hear this time.
Now go turn it into a box.
Into a rift box.
And then I say, once it's a box, I say, rift ship. Does anything happen?
Mm-mm.
No.
Good thing you weren't all on the ship when he said that.
Yeah, then we'd be trapped there forever.
That was
Forever.
really nice on this one, I feel.
Okay, well then rift ship, and we have our food, and then we shall press on.
All right.
Yeah, should Trellis do a con check again to see if she can withstand the cold now, or should she keep going inside the boat?
Oh, I mean, it's later that day, so you guys should all stay in the boat. Or she should stay in the boat. That should just kind of be the route going forward.
Okay.
Okay. So, that day passes uneventfully. What do you guys do about night? Do you just keep switching it into and out of a ship all night long? Or do you sleep outside at night? Trellis is warmed up a little bit, but still in a pretty bad health situation. Her immune system's been depressed, and she's got a bit of a cough.
I sleep on the ship.
Right. The night passes uneventfully as well. In fact, the next 3 days of trudging across the open tundra pass without a sight.
Oh,
So
right. On the
animals-
future days, I prepare enough spells to keep the party warm.
Sure. You
That
see
feels much better.
no sign of animals, no sign of life, no sign of dragons or monsters or anything like that. Just cold, snowy ground.
Cold, boring, dreary
Mhm.
snow. I try to cheer up the party by telling them like fables and stories of the great works of Valmontarius.
Do you have a story of one of the great works of Valmontarius?
Sure, I do, Neil.
Excellent.
I tell that one about the time that Valmontarius blessed the great adventurer Snood, and that great adventurer climbed Mount Sartop to find the great treasure of Lumen and used that treasure to save the entire town of Volley.
That's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Does Fehana know the specifics of why that was the domain of the god of justice? What was the great injustice that needed to be corrected?
Well, obviously, the great villain, the mage, the insane mage, Slytherin, had wrongfully enslaved the people of the town of Volley, and so that treasure was actually a magical treasure that freed them from his enslavement and allowed them to revolt and rise up against him.
Wow. Sounds like a really good magical treasure. How were they enslaved? What did they need this magic treasure to do to set them free?
It was each gold piece in the box of treasure, which was a giant box of treasure, was blessed with a spell of freeing that broke any enchantment upon the holder.
So they were magically enslaved.
Yes.
Mind controlled by an evil wizard.
Yep.
Wow.
Obviously.
Nice.
As it is, as it has been told for many centuries now.
Yes, I know this story well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've already read this in a book once.
I tell it anyway because I want to add my own embellishments about how great Valmontarius and his servants were.
And then I go are you sure that they were mind controlled by an evil wizard and not by an evil cleric?
Yes, it has been told for many centuries.
I feel I read otherwise in my book. What do you recall? I look at Temriel.
I mean,
yes.
yeah, Temriel might have been there.
According to my recollections, I believe Tempos had more of a hand in it than Valmontarius.
I scoff at this.
No, you may be right, to be honest. It may have been Tempos.
Yes, really, this was not much of a realm for Valmontarius. After all, it was an unnatural thing that this wizard had done in order to mind control the entire town of Valos.
Yes, the town of Valley.
It's pronounced volley.
No, it is Valos, you are mistaken.
We just fight about this for 3 hours.
Valis. You're right. I corrected it now in my memory. So you're saying Tempo had more to do with it?
Indeed.
What's the difference again? Tempo is a superior god to Valmontarius, is that it?
No, Tempos is the father of Valmontarius. They have different realms. However, they both are very important.
Are they equal, or is there a superior god?
Fehana's just
I mean, it's
All the gods serve an important purpose in our world, Albert.
But I mean, aren't there major and minor gods?
According to my knowledge, are both her gods major ones, or?
No, Tempos is one of the major gods. Valmontarius is one of the lesser gods. Tempo is not a god and doesn't exist.
Oh.
But that's okay,
Right.
Dark
I
Albert.
was saying Tempos.
You were saying Tempos. Dark Albert kept saying Tempo.
Oh,
That
right.
sounds accurate, to be honest.
All right, so you guys make it to the coast after 3 days of struggling. There's been no sign of the white dragon, no sign of giants, no sign of yetis or snowbolts or trolls or ice mephits or woolly mammoths or...
Does this strike us as strange not to have seen any of this?
Good question. How do you feel about not seeing any of these creatures for 3 days straight?
I think Fehana feels fatigued from watchfulness because she expected to see more obstacles but hasn't. So she's just kind of trying to keep a lookout but feeling when you're looking for something for so long and it never comes.
Let me consult my resources here.
Well, thank goodness it is a desolate wasteland here, anyways. Of course,
So
there would be
I'd
nothing
like-
around.
Can I use my direction sense to ensure that I feel we're on the right path? Neil? And my weather sense.
Sure, yes, fine.
Wow, Neil's in a generous mood today.
Well, I mean, the mountains are behind you, the ocean's in front of you. You don't need to use your direction sense. You can.
Did it take us as long to get there?
He's generous. That means something's coming.
Something bad.
It took you a little bit longer to get back to the ocean than it did to get to the mountains because you took this long detour around the mysterious snowball giants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we haven't seen anything, because we skipped the encounter.
Yeah.
It probably is a good thing.
But eventually, you guys make it to the ocean.
I think it should count as beating the encounter if we skip it. Half credit at least?
It's all about that value.
Do I see any sign of life anywhere? Besides the party, of course.
No, not besides the party.
Not even in the ocean?
But when you first get to the ocean, it's just kind of frozen slush along the beach. And no animal life in the water. At least not next to the sand.
I don't suppose, Albert, using your magics, you can summon a living creature?
Why do we need a living creature?
Well, we need to test the orb, of course. How do we know that it is offerable without testing on a live subject?
Why do we not use one of your undead?
Because I have none.
I do not think it is right to use it on a creature that is an innocent.
According to my research, it has to be on living things?
It was designed for living things. All the notes refer to creatures, people, monsters, but it never specifies a living creature or not. That is curiously absent from the notes.
I do not think a thing of such power should be used frivolously.
That is true, but we also need to confirm its power, and we also need to practice our use of the item so that we do not first use it on a dragon and then have it fail.
This is a good point.
But regardless, let us sail north, and should we ever come about any birds, you will have an excellent target.
Okay.
Okay. So, you guys turn your boat, or your box, into a boat, hop aboard. The sun is setting behind the mountains, so maybe you should just sleep on the ship for today and head out in the night, or maybe Tamriel wants to sail the ship all night, or something else. You guys are in charge.
Yeah, let's sail. No time like the present.
Okay.
Right.
Who wants to drive the ship?
Well, Temriel's driving, right? Because he doesn't need to sleep.
Sure.
Right. I will take 4 hours to meditate to get my spells done.
Okay.
So if one of you wants to take the
I can
second
start,
shift.
then I'll take a break for my spells. That are very useful, may I add.
Uh-huh. We need to find you a more powerful wizard.
You know what we need to find? A new spell book.
That's what I suggested.
Sure. Let's find
Okay.
new spells.
Onward to the north. From here on, it's just straight up.
Because it was so dark in the ship and Trellis was so cold, Fehana is used to like sharing space with her, and so as she goes to sleep, she kind of like offers the other side of her bedroll to Trellis, like, "You want to snuggle?"
And I take it.
Nice.
I go over and snuggle.
Okay.
Remind me, how many scores was it for hexes per day, per night?
Let me check my notes. It's been a long time since we've sailed anywhere.
It occurs to me that we completely skipped that little housing thingy there.
Housing thingy?
Yeah, that thing on the map. Seems interesting.
Every hex is 2 hours. If you put ores in and row as well, you can go to 1 hex per hour, but it takes I forget the crew that it takes to man that.
But more than we have.
Yeah,
right?
it's more than you have.
Okay, well then after 2 hexes, I start meditating and we bring out one of you other 3 to steer.
I thought that we started with Dark Albert so you could meditate and then you would go.
Oh, okay, then that's what we do. And then after 2 more hexes, you all wake up. And then to the north. Oh, I didn't realize there would be another continent up there. I mentioned as I pointed the map at this new looming continent ahead of us. Oh wait, I think I recognize that now.
Is it not where we came from?
Oh, we set sail from somewhere in the northeast.
All right,
What
so
is
how
this
many-
place?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more, and it's been a day of sailing.
Okay, it's at this moment that I flip over to the big map just to remind myself of where we're going.
Ah, yes.
Flip the map around. So our plan is to just go to Brimstone, is it not? Where is Brimstone located?
You guys in Brimstone is way up here. I'll use the other map so I can drag you there forcibly. Way up here, by the words home. This is where he was last spotted. Well, he was last spotted here on this island. No, hold on. Months past, you know he's taken up residence on Ice Cap, which is this big mountain.
Okay, and we are where?
We are at the southern edge of Drekis, I believe.
Oh, okay. We've got a long way to go.
I believe we should simply... it will be a shortcut if we, take the ship on land and then go this way, right? Up the river again?
Yeah, that's definitely shorter, but then you risk being spotted in that channel because there are people on the lookout for you.
Okay. Are we aware of any dangers of sailing across the east side of Eridan?
No.
Then I propose that we simply hug the coast along the east side of Eridan until we make it. Although we will need to stop for some supplies in
very soon.
probably that city in Matava.
Perhaps we can also find some wealth along the way.
There's do I know anything about this point at Drekis?
No. Any knowledge you might have had is 1,500 years old, so...
Do any of you know anything about that point of Drekis?
Let's see. Behana's from Matava, so she would know that the Drekis has 2 coastal towns on the west side of their kingdom. Their names are... One of them is Bontheris. I'm sorry, there's 3 coastal towns on the east side of Drekis. One is Bontheris, one is Pernissus, one is Bondundasir. She doesn't know which ones are which, but they're all civilized port towns.
Okay, well, we shall stop at that one in order to gain enough supplies. How long do you reckon the journey will be if nothing goes amiss?
Well, let's take a look at where we are right now.
I mean, across the east side of that continent.
Oh, the whole way?
Yep. Or I suppose if that's too insane, I mean, we only have 4 people.
Oh,
3 people.
Scale. Let's see. I don't know, like 2.5 weeks or so?
Okay. So that would mean let's see, 20 days to be on the safe side times 3 people, 60 days times 3 meals, 100 meals. So we just need 200, or actually it doesn't matter, it's in rations of days, right? So we just need to pick up 60 days of rations.
And perhaps on the way, we might find other ships that may provide wealth for the service of Valmontarius.
Oh my.
Kind of look quizzingly at her. Maybe?
I
Is that not why you
first
sail?
First off, we should probably gather wealth to cover our expenses of traveling.
We have no expenses of traveling.
Well, I mean, eating for once. Maybe you don't have some, but we sure have some.
That is negligible compared to the
dragon
wealth.
bone stick you got. That
Negligible compared to the wealth that we hold.
I mean, these people. Well,
We start doing the sailing towards that village
this
there.
This person is new to our party. I think she should expand her own expenses or contribute to the ship's wealth.
This is what I am saying. We will find wealth on other ships.
Well, there will be wealth at this village that we're about to go into. Is this close enough to see what the village is?
You're still like 14 miles from the shore, from the village.
Is a spyglass good enough?
A spyglass, you can barely make out the coastline and the village in the distance if she climbs up on top of the mast. You're gonna want to be closer to really get anything about it.
Okay, there.
If we do see a ship, we should probably investigate, if you know what I mean.
At this point, you can see off in the distance a quaint little village. It's built right at the end of a river. You notice to the south is this more tundry, Arctic-y area, but north of the river seems to be fairly pleasant. The air here is a lot warmer. It's no longer freezing, although the wind chill can make it quite unpleasant at times. The town seems small, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people at most. There's lots of bright banners and colors hanging from flags and from buildings. There's a large church steeple that must be 4 or 5 stories high. Hanging from that is the church, the flag of Drekis, the kingdom that it's in.
What does that look like?
Well, I was just going to give you guys experience right now. So, you guys spent 2 days traveling from the southern continent to this continent. Well, why don't I tally up all the experience during break since there were no encounters, and when we come back, we'll dish out some experience, see if anyone levels up, and get some supplies. See you guys on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.